Alright, this week's story is called The Haunted House by Pliny the Elder. And some vocab that you should know. Domus means house. Imago, image. Vincula, chains, like another name for that is fetters, like the chains that prisoners wear. Gerebat, war, or gerere, to wear. Sordidus, dirty. Tenuis, thin. Relinquerunt, they left behind. Relinquere, to leave behind. Nemo, no one. Pretium, price. Senex, old man. Nihilominus, nevertheless. Posuit, placed. Usit, ordered. Difficultate magna, with great difficulty. Ossa, bones. Publicae, publicly. And commotus, or commoti, disturbed by. Erat Athenis spatiosa et magna domus, sed infamis et pestilens. Athenis pestilens domus. Ei qui ibi habitabant per noctem sonum vinculorum audiebant, causam sonorum mox cognoverunt, mox apparebat imago, senex, sordidus et tenuis, imago habet barbam feram, gerebat vincula manibus pedibusque. Ob sonum imaginemque inhabitantes domus erant semper tristis et teriti, sad and afraid. Per diem etiam memoria cum eis manebat, et eos terrebat. Aderat enim timor mortis. It was still present, the fear of death. Tandem nemo in domo habitare audebat. Totam domum illi seni reliquerunt. Nemo enim illam emere cupiebat. Per paucos menses vacua relicta est domus, in qua ille senex habitabat. Vacua. Venit Athenas Philosophus Athenodorus. Legit titulum auditoque pretio, quia suspecta est vilitas, percunctatus omnia tocetur, ac nilominus domum emit. Ubi incipit ad versperascere, to become dark, lectum posuit in prima domus parte, et servos tabellas stilum lumen portare usit. Lumen tabellas. Ipse ad scribendum animum oculos et manum intendit. Initio silentium noctis, dende vincula audiuntur, ille oculos non movet. Anima vertit ad tabellas et stilum et lumen. Sonos vinculorum apropinquat. Iam ad Januam Jam inside Januam auditur. Ille ad sonum oculos vertit. Respicit, vidit, agnoscitque narratam sibi imaginem. The image told to him, Imago stabat et digitis innuebat. Come hither. Philosophus autem in lecto manet. Horror sus stilo et tabellis laborat. Mox sonus vinculorum iterum auditur. Philosophus ad portam spectat, iterum imaginem videt, nec mortatus tollit lumen et sequitur. Senex difficultate magna ambulat quod pedibus vincula trahit. Postquam ille in peristilum garden domus pervenit. Subito non jam videtur. The ghost vanishes. Desertus herbas et folia concerpta signum loco ponit. Postero die Athenodorus ea quae viderat amicis narravit, eius verbis commoti servos illum locum effodere iuserunt, inveniuntur ossa et vincula, collecta publicae suppelliuntur, buried, numquam postea imago Ilius senis visa est.
The house was then abandoned and condemned to lie empty, left wholly to that spectre. But it was put up for sale in case anyone unaware of that monstrous evil wished to buy or to rent it. The philosopher Athenodorus visited Athens. He read the advertisement, and on hearing the price, he was suspicious because it was so cheap. So on making inquiries, he learnt the whole story, and in spite of it, or rather all the more because of it, he rented the house. When the day began to draw in, he ordered a couch to be laid for him in the front of the house. He asked for tablets, a pen, and a lamp, and consigned all his servants to the inner part of the house. He concentrated his brain and eyes and hand upon his writing, for fear that if his mind was unoccupied, he would imagine the presence of the apparitions which he'd heard of, and arouse in himself empty fears. At first, the night was as silent there as elsewhere, but then there was the clank of metal and the movement of chains. The philosopher did not raise his eyes or abandon his pen, but he fortified his mind and stopped his ears. Then the noise intensified and drew nearer. Now it was audible at the threshold, now within the threshold. He looked back and saw and recognized the spectre as it had been described to him. It stood there, signalling with a finger as though summoning him. In response, he gestured with his hand that it should wait a little, and again he bent over his tablets and his pen. The wraith rattled its chains over his head as he wrote. He again looked back at the ghost, which was signalling as before, and without lingering, he picked up his lamp and followed. The spectre proceeded with heavy steps, as though burdened with its chains. After diverging into the courtyard of the house, it suddenly glided away and left him as he was accompanying it. Now left alone, he plucked some plants and leaves and marked the spot with them. Next day he approached the magistrates, advising them to bid the place to be dug up. Bones were unearthed there, encircled and entwined with chains. The corpse had rotted with its time in the earth and had left the bones uncovered and worn away with the chains. They were gathered and buried at public expense. Thereafter the house was free of the shades, which had been duly buried.